As a casual comic book nerd, I was already familiar with Black Panther. When it comes to black superheroes, I'm all on that, especially if they're African, and especially when he was married to the baddest bitch of all time, the goddess known as Storm, my queen. We're waiting on that movie. However, wider audiences didn't know too much about Black Panther, or never heard of him. If you didn't watch the BET cartoon, or saw his cameo on the Fantastic Four cartoons from back in the day,
at last, the Black Panther's prey has arrived.
Captain America Civil War was the first place you were introduced to him and gave us a little taste of what was to come. And if you wasn't a die-hard comic book fan who consumed everything the MCU put out, then a lot had to be explained to you. And with a runtime of 2 hours and 15 minutes, info dumping wasn't going to be allowed. Quick side note, I am Yoruba, also British obviously. I'm going to be pronouncing, I'm trying my best here, and I've probably already messed up a lot of the pronunciations of different tribes names and stuff, and I'm gonna do it even more. I'm sorry, I tried to look it up, I was saying it right, I had my phone ready, I was listening to it and like tried to repeat it, then I was on camera, then anyways, epele mabinu. There was a lot of energy put into the production design to do the most of the world building of Wakanda as this futuristic and fantastical yet grounded place, and I think they pulled it off really well, and thus introducing Afrofuturism to a wide mainstream audience who've never heard of it before. The film opens with the story of the birth of Wakanda and the Black Panther, told via oral history and CGI sand. Again, Afrofuturism for you. What I liked in this oral history telling of the Black Panther story done with the CGI sand is that you see like Wakanda kind of being like separated from everything that was going on in the rest of the continent. So you see civil wars happening, you see people in chains, in bondage through the European transatlantic slave trade and also the Arab slave trade. And, you know, you see Wakanda being protected because this meteorite, you know, blocked them from colonialism and invasions and everything. So that was a really good introduction. But if I was going to explain Afrofuturism to just anybody, just giving them a nice example to point at that represented what it was, or just a good, you know, a good thing just to point at, it would be T'Challa's coronation scene, where all of the tribes are gathering and going into Warrior Falls, and they're in their ceremonial attire, and everyone's singing, everyone's chanting, everyone's, you know, everyone's doing their traditional practices, and you get this like futuristic sci-fi elements in there too. So the waterfall is like drained and this platforms opens up and everything is just really majestic, and T'Challa steps out and looks, and you see all, oh my god, that scene alone was the one that took my breath away, seriously. The production designer Hanna Beachler really did her research with how the architecture from the borders of the country all the way to the capital city should look. I've seen some reviewers try to compare Wakanda's look to different video games and you know, movies such as like Star Wars and stuff, like, I guess, but you know, you don't really have to look that far into other movies, because a lot of the architecture, it's things that already exist. It's different buildings and homes that's already there in Africa. Like I can point to the buildings in Nigeria, in Burkina Faso, in Ghana, in so many other places, and they resemble a lot of Wakandan architecture. How the way the buildings look, it's not that far. Like you would see it, it's just like it's done in a freaky deaky way, but it's still very similar, not too far off indeed. So Hanna Beachler, nice work there. I really appreciated seeing that and seeing what they did there. I also noticed that the Wakandan writing system is in Sidibe, which is an Igbo writing system, people in Nigeria and others. But yeah, it's an Igbo writing system, and I've seen some people try and decode what was like written in the movie. So that's been really cool to see. The costume designs in this movie really help shape this world. Ruth E. Carter, who is a prolific costume designer, if there is a black movie that you love, chances are Ruth E. Carter was the costume designer on that, because she has done so many things. She did Baps, classic Halle Berry movie, remember Baps? She did Malcolm X, the new Roots TV show, and of course the greatest superhero movie, well, the second best now, Meteor Man. Yep, she was the costume designer for Meteor Man.
Meteor Man's in town.
I love Meteor Man. Carter made sure that each tribe had a distinct look and colour that was inspired by different cultures found around the continent, and to make it easy for audiences to differentiate between the tribes, but also to highlight the diversity found within one country, because people often homogenize Africa, but one country can have many ethnic groups and over 100 different dialects. The border tribe that protect the entrance to Wakanda were based on the Lesotho tribe of South Africa. They had the similar blue blanket robes. The mining tribe were based on the Himba people of Namibia. The mining tribe elder, she had the Ochise, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but she had the Ochise clay in her hair and skin, the red clay that Himba women would use to protect themselves from the sun and to clean and to everything. And also I noticed that her protector, the mining tribe's protector or guardian, was like in like a Maasai attire. So I guess it's a combination of Himba and Maasai. So Himba, that's Namibia, Maasai, Kenya. The merchant tribe, I'm not too sure. I was thinking, just based on the elder's earrings that she was wearing, I was thinking maybe it's Fulani, but that's West Africa. But also maybe Tuareg, or I'm not too sure. I didn't really see too many sources out there that explained it, and no one's really like clued me in, because Africa's huge. I don't know every tribe and ethnic group that's there. The river tribe were inspired by the Maasai and the Sama people from Ethiopia. They have the lip disc and floral face painting. The Jabari tribe looked to be inspired by the Zulu people of South Africa, with the way how they had the furs and the colour motif, brown and white. The royal guard, the Dora Milaje, were based on the real-life female warriors known as the Mino warriors of what is now modern-day Benin. Their look is inspired by the Maasai women, and the gold and silver neck rings that they wear are from the Ndebele women of South Africa. I really, really like their look. I mean, compared to the comics and compared to how they look now, I mean, it's night and day. I mean, in the comics, of course, they were hyper-sexualized. It looked weird. They were also wearing red a lot. I remember that. I think there was like one comic where they were like in these like red dresses that looked like really tight, like no one's gonna be fighting in that. And then there was one where they were just like some type of bikini, type of stereotypical, not even really well done. I'm gonna link to them. I'm gonna put them there so you can see the night and day difference, because Lord, so there's a lot of things going on there, a lot of different influences and homages that are, you know, that are borrowed and inspired to help create the look and feel, to make it feel grounded and actually real, instead of just adding like pseudo safari African shit that's not really African and just makes it look like a hodgepodge of different shit and calling it African. So there was actually attention to an actual research, because this is what happens when you hire black people in front and behind the camera. I'm just saying. But also, apart from just the tribes, in different character styles you can see different elements of other ethnic groups, like the Queen Mother, played by wonderful Angela Bassett. She was wearing this this headdress, this like kind of circular headdress, which is what Zulu women would wear, like a traditional married Zulu woman like headdress. that she was wearing, and it was, I believe it was like 3D printed, so it was like kind of different, kind of like, you know, futuristic and really cool. The shaman Zuri, the mystic Zuri, he was kind of wearing like this Nigerian Agbada kind of inspired like drapes and robes type of look to him. The men and women that are part of Zuri's herbalist group are wearing scarves that resemble the Tuareg scarves. It was kind of like, and I think like the women of the shaman practice thing, they also had what was it again? They had a like Iran Buba type of look, but I'm not entirely sure. It's like I was taking so many notes I couldn't keep up. I didn't realize how personal styles were such a big deal in this until I went back to watch it a few more times and read and watched many interviews after that. So Okoye is always in red. She's wearing this red dress that's, you know, supposed to be, I believe that it was supposed to be like a callback to the comics, in like the Dora Milaje were like wearing these like red dresses, but like it was kind of silly. But yeah, she was always in red, and she had the rings around her neck, the gold ring armor. She was the only one who had gold. The rest of the Dora Milaje had silver. So of course she's the general. Nakia usually wore green, you know, representing the River Tribe, her ethnic group. And T'Challa was always in black, because he's the Black Panther. Sometimes we'll have a little pop of color here and there. He had a kente cloth draped around his like shoulder. Now, when I was watching Ryan Coogler's interview where he like breaks down the scene in Vanity Fair, he breaks down the fight scene that happened in the casino. He said they were wearing red, green and black, the colors of the Pan-African flag. And I was like, my goodness, I didn't even catch that. You know, I never, flew right past me. Then I was like, oh my god, yes, Pan-Africanism, duh. Like, I loved Eric's look. It was very art ho, but like, I'm smart and I'll fuck you up type of look. So that denim jacket, his dreads kind of like swooped to the side, and the glasses and the gold fangs, like, he's a motherfucking monster. Gold fangs, like this song. Anyways, I was thinking afterwards, was that supposed to be like a call to like how some people would get gold teeth when they go to like pilgrimage, like Hajj? But I don't know, maybe, could be, I don't know, but I liked it though. I also loved his Vegeta inspired armor that he wore. Like, he really brought Dragon Ball into this too. But yeah, Eric is very flashy. He's very out there. He wants people to know that, like, look at me, look at me. And I think it's very telling when he picks his own Black Panther suit. He picks the big flashy gold one that T'Challa was like, nah, it's nice, but it's to not be seen. So he just picks the simple chain. But yeah, he gets, in comparison to Eric, he gets the big flashy gold one that's like, yeah, I'm king and what. I also appreciated the inclusion of scarification, you know, tribal marks that Wakabi and Eric have. So Eric has the all over body, you know, defeated people who's killed and everything, and Wakabi has a few on his face. And usually when like scarification of any kind is tribal marks of any kind, it's usually depicted as savage and stuff, and very, what's the word I'm looking for, when scarification is usually depicted, it's seen as very it's not shown in the best of light. And on Wakabi anyways, yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was really beautiful. It went, you know, over his face and his cheeks. And I have family members who have marks on their face, you know, and I'm glad it was included in this, because I felt it needed to be, because you've gone all out with everything. You have lip this, you have you know, face paint and everything. So like, yes, with the tribal marks, the tattoos as well. The Dora had tattoos on their faces, on their heads and everything. So I was glad that many types of African body modifications were present in this film. Everyone's hair was on point. You had all types of natural hairstyles. You had bantu knots and twists out and single braids and extensions, plaits and twists and shaved, and T'Challa's hair was always looking very moisturized. You had locks. Everyone's hair was looking good. Everyone's hair was looking good. The wigs were on point. Like Angela Bassett's white wig, lace wig, amazing. Like, this is why. Let me see her name. Camille Friend. Thank you, Camille Friend, for hooking everybody up with a nice, like, everyone's hair was beautiful. This, again, like I said, good to have black people in front and behind the camera, because of course we're gonna know how to do the hair. We're gonna know how to like light properly and do all this, yeah, because like no one could fuck up in this movie. No one could fuck up. There was no room for mediocrity, you know. Even Okoye's temporary wig that she was wearing, that even looked alright. I mean, yeah, it's supposed to be like an uncomfortable kind of like, not even messy, it looked like someone's auntie's wig, yeah, but like, it was alright, it was okay. She's like, just whip it. But she's like, it's fine, just whip it a bit, just whip it. It was great, oh my god. Everyone's hair was looking nice. So like, Walking Dead, if you need a nice like locks wigs, yeah, if you need a nice one, you can just ask around, because you film in Atlanta, and from what I've heard, Atlanta is like black hair capital. So like, you can hook up my girl Michonne and Ezekiel with better wigs than what you're giving them, because yeah, I mean, even I can make a good wig, and I'm not a wig maker, my sister is, so yeah. And this is where I had to stop, because my dog was barking and she wanted to go out, even though it was like 12 or something. But I will see you in the next video.